Welcome to sunny St. Moritz, where an icy wind is starting to blow through the Engadin Valley. Change in the weather is coming, but that's going to bring lower, faster ice temperatures. Hello everybody, we're ready for the second and deciding heat of World Cup number 6 for women's bobsleigh. The 18 sleds that completed the first run go in reverse order to decide the medal, with both runs counting towards the total time. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me bobsleigh expert John Morgan. And John, this track is historic, the longest, the fastest, it's the best.
All the athletes would vote to come here every single weekend of every single World Cup. Flat start, and it's in the same start as it was 100 years ago. Coming to this first kink, very important. Now this long straightaway, they call it the wall. Long straight, little turn here. Can't make any mistakes. Perfect setup here for the second part of the wall. Speeds are still slow. Now we get into a curve called, this is wall here, now in what they call the first of the snake. Here's a right and a left, and now into sunny curve. Sunny curve, big shot, sweeping left to right. Nash Dixon, named after the two British bobsleighers who won the gold medal at the '64 games in Innsbruck. Now horseshoe, the most famous curve in the world. Slingshot effect onto the bottom. Telephone. Look at these names. These names have been on these curves over 100 years ago. Speeds near 80 plus miles an hour. Bridge. Big change of direction, 4 Gs. Gunter Sachs curve here, and now the fastest part of the track, almost 80 plus miles an hour. Portago corner, and now after Martino, it's the finish, through and down, and what a thrill. All the athletes, it's so smooth, just unbelievable.
Silent and fast. Fabienne Meyer of Switzerland probably fits that description as well. She's our surprise leader in the first heat. Jamie Greubel of the USA in second spot, just 500s back. But look at that. Quarter of a second takes you down to 8th place, Jennifer Cacchetti. Any of those girls could medal here in the second heat. Kaylee Humphries, the world champion on this track last year, had a bit of a loose run, only 10th. And there's a couple of other disappointments. Alana Myers and Jasmine Fenlater, both on the podium already a number of times this season. Alana with 2 wins. She's never been lower than second. Sandra Kiriasis, surprise winner last year in Winterberg, Germany. She could feature in the medal hunt here as well.
Hengster from Austria, she could move up. There's her brakeman.
John, air temperature is only -1, but it's getting very cold at the moment. We expect the temperature to drop to -15 overnight, so tomorrow for the 4-man race will be a really icy day. 18 sleds in our race today. They go in reverse order of their first heat performance, so 22-year-old Maria Constantin of Romania will be the first sled on the ice, and our leader, Fabienne Meyer, will go last to try and claim the first gold medal in women's bobsleigh for Switzerland in a long while.
Horseshoe bar, nice little spot to hang out and watch this race. I don't think there's any other place like it in the world at a bob track.
Maria Constantin of Romania, 22-year-old student from Bucharest, and her 20-year-old brakewoman, Andrea Greco. Paul Niago, the former Romanian athlete, now based at Winterberg, supplies the sled. It's one of his school sleds. And these girls continue to show up in the World Cup, race at the highest level on the smallest budget that it is conceivable to achieve it on.
Probably driving the oldest sled in the field, an old DSD Dresden. And, you know, 2 young athletes here, too. They're not 25 between them. I mean, they're just shows how a small nation like Romania, which I always tell the story, used to be a power in the sport, but their last medal, the World Championships in Lake Placid in 1969. I was there, of course. Panturo won a bronze in the 4-man. They have a track up in the mountains of Romania called Ciana, an old natural track. Every once in a while they build it, and everybody says it's a beautiful facility. Ooh, watch out here. This is, you cannot have a problem going into horseshoe like she just did.
102.9 kilometers an hour, 64 miles an hour, and accelerating hard in these 4 right-hand corners, nameless, bridge, leap, and the final one that leads onto the straight Sachs curve. They'll come out of here doing over 80 miles an hour. 134.6, 84 miles an hour. That's good speed from the Romanians.
Through and down, 1:10.02, so they're slower by 20 hundredths. So you can't really tell from that if the track's going to speed up. It's later in the afternoon. So different here than all of the other above-ground, artificially cool tracks that we compete on. This is the only natural facility, so the dynamics of it are very different. And here, this is not what you want to do going into the most famous, challenging curve in the world called Horseshoe. She's in a dead skid. She has no way of knowing where she's going to get on this curve. And when she gets in there, she has to pull the D-ring, steer as hard as she can. And when you have friction like that, you have no chance for a good time.
19th last week in Winterberg. She is our leader as the first of our US sleds comes to line. Jasmine Fenlater and Katie Eberling, they had a good start, 8th quickest away from the blocks, but a horrible, horrible run, ping-ponging all the way down the slower part of this track, John.
Especially at the top of the track. 8th best start. There's the little spikes being cleaned. Katie Eberling with Fenlater didn't compete last week. USA continues to shuffle their 5 brakemen around. USA is as deep as any team in the competition. And the 5 brakemen they got are probably could be, all 5 of them could be ones on any other country's sled. And the US coaches have a very difficult decision who's going to make that team, and this is the same thing she did in the first run.
Yeah, again, you can hardly see the runners moving at the front, but the sled is skidding around. This BMW 2-man sled feels very different to what they were used to, and it was notable that she and Alana Myers had a horrible time before they got to Sunny here. Their race was effectively over.
But their teammate Jamie Greubel, just the opposite. She had a great run, and she sits in 2nd place. Horseshoe, high.
Ooh, and hard.
Early. Yeah. Speed 136, but she's sliding every place. Doesn't have the great control. So this is about runner selection. This is about being familiar with this track. I mean, she probably only got 60 trips in this sled, and it's a radical steering from what she was born and raised on. So, you know, the school's still out here.
And that's great when it's all under control, but when you need the sudden reflex steer or calmness, that's what's taking time for the American girls to learn. 109.49, 400ths of a second away from her first heat, so no major improvement there at all, I'm afraid.
Not a very good day for Jasmine Fenlater, and again, it's driving up top was where all her mistakes were. Here, you know, she's got a good high line. She's finding the crossover, but she hits the take-on before the sled needed to get there. Back end comes up. I think there's a better word than friction than this right here. This is how not to do it. And this, anybody that comes over there and hits this perfectly, slingshot effect on the bottom part of this track. That's the pivotal part of the track. We'll see it with many more sleds to go.
Alana Myers is our World Cup leader. 2nd, 1st, 1st, 2nd, 2nd are her results this season. With Asia Evans behind her, 2nd quickest at the start. Look at the focus from this girl from Georgia. Alana Myers, the standout US driver this season.
2nd best start in the competition, 5:52. And, you know, her nemesis is coming up right here.
Sled's drifting. She's desperately trying to do nothing.
That wasn't as bad as the first one. Right here, coming up right here. This is where she was sideways the whole way down the track. She's
just willing it not to touch the wall.
She could move up with a good run here.
Yeah.
She could move up 7 or 8 places.
Well, she's not been lower than 2nd. There's no way in the world she should be down in 16th place. The first run was a nightmare. The 2nd run can only be better, surely.
Lost the race last week by 1/100th of a second. She had Lolo Jones on the brakes then. There's a very, very, very good line. Speed 104.8.
Now she's got to get out of Horseshoe and not park it hard. And that continues to build the speed.
Pulling away, you would expect that, but she shouldn't be beating her teammate by 7/10. It was very close between them. It was 100th between them. Now, look at the speed, 137.5. And this is, you know, what you wanted in the first run from Alana Myers, 108.59.
John, that would have left her 4th in the first heat.
85 hundredths better in the second run than the first run. I think it's safe to say she had a bad first run.
She had a nightmare first run. She had the sort of run that you hope doesn't even happen in training.
Well, she could say I got that bad run of the season out of my, you know, in my rear view mirror. And, you know, look at the lines here. Not as high as her teammate. Look at the runner tips. You can see turning down.
Really steering
hard there. She's below the lines to the rest of the other lines. But I like the crossover here. I like the crossover and on the take-on. And good speed in the bottoms. She could move up 6-8 places.
Anastasia Tambovtseva of Russia is next up with Yevgenia Solovyeva, a brand new brakewoman making her first World Cup start today. And that's how much the Russians are desperate to really produce speed from this women's bobsled program, John. 2 weeks out from the start of the games, new brakewoman.
But you could bring in Usain Bolt and put her on the back, and it's not going to help if the driver can't push. And Anastasia, very good driver, but she can't push the sled. But this is what the Russians have going into the games. Their other Russian pilot is a great athlete in the front seat, and she, you know, we're going to see her later. She's got a chance to move up and challenge for a medal. Look at these lines. Look how quiet the sled is here. Her brakeman, she came in for that her headshot shoot. She's 6'3". And I looked and asked her in her media list, and what is your background track and field shot put?
6'3". 6'3". Wow, yeah, how explosive must she be?
She is a very, very big female that and the Russians have her in the back seat here.
Well, Tambovtseva twice went to the Olympics for the Russian luge team and also went to Vancouver as a bobsled driver, so she's got lots of experience.
She's, you know, future coach. Look at these lines. I mean, she's as good as it gets for driving the sled, but if you can't start the sled in this sport with the athletes that are in women's bobsledding now, can't compete.
135, 2 kilometers an hour down, almost a full mile an hour down on Alana Myers, and as a result, well, she should have been a lot further behind Alana Myers in the first heat as well. Myers the leader, Tambovtseva in second. Jasmine Fenlater of the USA lies in third spot. Good exit off the horseshoe, and that keeps your speed alive, John Morgan, in this critical part of the track.
Yeah, but look at the rudder tips here. She's trying to control where she's going to get on. She comes over to the right wall, which allows her to get on, but those rudder tips like that, that's friction. Friction is time. But good pilot. If she had a start time, she could be competitive.
Going to her 4th Olympic Games, still just 31. Top of the track with our Australian athletes. Astrid Radenovic, Locke Wilkinson as was before she married Serbian driver Vuk Radenovic, and Jana Pittman. And new great-looking helmets for the Aussie Icebirds. Jana Pittman, another summer Olympian turned winter athlete.
A lot of track and field athletes crossed over to women's bobsled especially. Men's bobsled, they've done it over the years, but this sled and 6 more in front of them will all have summer Olympians competing in the front or back seat. And good driver here. You know, her start times, Astrid's at the 12th best start. A veterinarian, and as I mentioned this last week, her dog died a couple weeks ago. She's pretty bummed out. Of course, she's here, and family's down in Australia. Skid.
Tiny little moment, good line into horseshoe.
Still has the lead, speed here.
Nice exit too, 1500ths of a second.
That's good speed. That's half a kilometer down to Alana Myers. She could still, down to 8, so now the speed for Myers, 137.5 kilometers an hour,
now this
84.
Latvian sled should be fast at the bottom if she avoids the wall. 136.8, going to be close. Very close indeed, maybe even 100th of a second in it. It's a tie! Not even 100th of a second in it. Asia Evans there looks pretty relaxed in the leader's box.
If you would have told me or Alana Myers before the race that she'd be in a tie with the Australian team, she would say, that is nothing that I want.
Yeah, if you told the Aussies they'd be in a tie with Alana Myers, they'd expect to be on the podium.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so this track's a little strange, a little different. Americans are driving really different sleds than they've been here with in the past. Look at how low she is here. Look at her eyes barely above the cowling. And she lost a little bit, but she had enough left in the bank. Speed, look at the difference. That's how Myers and Radenovic are in the lead, because on the bottom part of the track, Myers had more speed.
There's Astrid, 31 years old. In her last season, she says, as a bobsledder. Alana Myers, I think, has got another good couple of Olympic cycles in her. Switzerland's Caroline Spani. She is their big starting athlete.
Well, this is one of the races within a race we'll talk about. Here's Swiss #1. She had the #2 draw in the field. She has emerged as Switzerland #1, beating her teammate, who's the leader at the moment, Fabienne Meyer. But Meyer had a start number of 13. And Meyer did what everybody expected Meyer to do a few years ago, was to come down and be the leader here in this St. Moritz track, her home track. But I would expect Spani to have a better run here and move up, because Spani shouldn't have been this far back either.
Spani only started driving after Vancouver. She was a brakewoman for Sabine Hafner, the other young Swiss world champion, junior world champion.
Speed, 104.1, that's decent. Still 0.7 of a kilometer down to the Alana Meyer sled.
Still in the green, but the gap is coming down from 0.4 to 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, she should be better than this on her home track. These sleds, these runners, home cooking. Now 11 though, now she's
gonna be close.
Gotta believe it's enough.
She should have enough, unless she makes a mistake between there
and
the line, 300s.
Wow, this is a bad day for Spani. This is something, she wanted to be up challenging for the medals, like her teammate, and she beat her teammate all year long. Look at her, She just can't believe it.
And of course, because the leaders are tied, she doesn't drop one, she drops two spots instantly.
Yeah, she can't believe it. Well, little taps like this, left side of your screen, little tap there, pushes her into the wrong part of the curve, and watch what happens on the exit here. She steers too much steering in there. Sunny and Snake, and here, again, taps before the curve, and that forces her into the middle of the curve. So on the end of the curve, she's got to drive to get out. More steering, more friction, more loss of time.
Well, still only 3 years of experience under her belt. Next up for the Netherlands is Esme Campos with Melissa Bakelman behind her, another brand new athlete, never raced before this afternoon.
Dr. Esme Campos, who, in the Low Countries, Belgium and Netherlands, these female bobsled drivers were the #1. But all of a sudden, Belgium, this is Elfie Willemsen, who's in 4th place. She's emerged, and I don't think Dr. Campos is very happy about that. And very experienced pilot, very good equipment, great coaching. A lot of media in the Netherlands following her, and because she's the top Dutch athlete with results.
Best 2 results of the season were 7th places. She needs 3 top 8s for the Dutch to allow her to go. She's already got those, so now it's about points to get further up the start draw when we get to Sochi.
Again, very experienced, knows this track well. As soon as I said that, big hit, 136 kilometer speed should be enough, but we've seen some strange results down here in the last 50 meters, and she hangs on. So Nicola Minicello, the coach, looks on. Minicello won the 2009 World Championships as a Great Britain driver, and very good coaching.
And her brakewoman in that sled, Paula Walker, is now the GB1 driver, as Nikki is coaching the Dutch team. So the Dutch have the lead from Alana Myers and Astrid Radenovic. And a big start, this new athlete bringing in a bit of extra speed.
Good technique down here. Tries to get over on the takeout early. That little tap forces her down in the middle of the curve. That's out of Sunny and top of the track where you want to be quiet with all the steering you do. And
Christina Hengster of Austria. She was 11th in the first heat with Viola Kleiser behind her, a new brakewoman who made her first World Cup start last week in Winterberg in Germany. And everybody exploring new power for the run-up to Sochi 2014.
Hangster, her nemesis in the sport is the first 50 meters. But every once in a while, she posts a great run and has a decent result. World Cup medals in Innsbruck, her home track, is where we go next week. Look at these lines. This is how to do it. Look how low she sits in the sled. She's a tall girl. She's 5'10". And the Austrians just have this way of getting your eyes barely above the cali. Here's that snake curve. Sunny. That's a skid. Very costly skid there. Bang. That skid cost her the bang into Nash and Dixon. She still hasn't recovered.
Best result this season, 12th place in the opener in Calgary, a real glider's track.
No speed.
No, 103 is poor.
That's because of the mistake on the exit of Sunny into Nash and Dixon. You can't do that. Now her time continues to bleed, so when you have a deficient start time and you make some driving errors, it usually results in a finish outside the top 10.
Well, she's not going to match the 12th place from Calgary as she drops into 5th position here with 10
down
to go.
Dutch girls will take that, and Christina Hengster, much better driver than the mistake we just saw her make. And
it's been a long time since we've seen an Austrian driver who was fast at the start.
yeah, here's the mistake. Look at the skid. Too much of on the exit of the Sunny, almost all the way over into the crossover for that lower start. And then here's the mistake still going on. She's laid it in this curve, crosses over and hits before the take-on of Dixon. That's where she lost all of the time.
Esme Campos helping to push the sled up the hill. The brakewoman Viola, new to St. Moritz and to the sport, slowed them down a little too much. With 10 sleds to come, it's Esme Campos of the Netherlands who leads from Astrid Radenovic and Alana Meyers, tied in second spot. Well, as ever, John Morgan, consistency being the key to success. And we've seen a couple of up and down performances from the girls in the lower part of the draw. Alana Myers finding some redemption. 16th, I beg your pardon, after the first heat out of a field of 18. She at least has pulled herself up a couple of spots. She lies second with 10 to go. But for a woman whose worst result this season have been 3 second places, that's a very large fall from grace. And this St. Moritz track is not normally one that you expect to turn around and bite you. And it seems that the radical steering system on the two-man BMW sled is what is causing the dramas. When the girls get into a little skid, they don't have the natural feel. The instinct isn't helping them, and the sled is just starting to drive them, and that's not what you want at any track.
Definitely her worst trip of the season, sideways out of curve 2, 3 into the wall. So, that's something they're going to work on, but the best thing they can look at this is that this natural track doesn't go to Sochi. And next week in Innsbruck, it's a short 1,200-meter, 1,300-meter track. Same in Koenigsee. A lot of Myers will bounce back and do well.
Down there at the horseshoe bar, things are warming up nicely. Got some bratwurst going on the grill, got some nice glühwein. And track workers, as always, here through the forest, little bits and pieces falling off the trees. Don't often get a big flop of snow, but any tiny little ice crystals or bits of pine cone or branch in the way will all help to slow the sleds down. Goggles, of course, for both of our Canadian sliders, Kaylee Humphries and Jennifer Cacchetti, coached by Pierre Luders, and he was the famous goggle-wearing male slider in his career. Lots of noise at the top of the St. Moritz track from the Canadian athletes as our world champion, Kaylee Humphries, comes to the start line. With Heather Moyse, they won the world championship a couple of years ago. Kaylee won it with Chelsea Valois here last season in St. Moritz. 10th after the first heat. Both runs count, so you can't throw away a poor run if you improve in your second heat. John Morgan, Humphries needs to find redemption. She really had a very un-Kaylee first heat here.
Didn't do that well in Winterberg last week either. Now, the best start in the field of the first run, So you'd expect her to match that again. Set the track record in the first run. So they do 5:48, 200s off their track record in the first run. And Kaylee made mistakes down below. And look at their profile. You don't see the brakeman. Heather's tucked in there very nice. And I bet you Kaylee's angry.
She's angry, all right. She's had 2 gold medals this season, a silver medal as well in Park City. And of course, the world push champion is behind her, Heather Moyes.
Now watch this exit. Is she coming down the middle? Now she'll drift over to the right, get out of where she wants to. And is the exit clean? Yes, speed on the left. 105.3. Okay,
wow.
That's...
Here we go. This is
we go.
Kaylee, like Alana Myers, producing what she would have liked to have produced in the first heat. Smooth lines and great speed, driving hard away from Esme Campos. And she's in that group that could be easily in the top half dozen.
Wow, 137.8. Game on for Kaylee Humphries. She would have done this in the first heat. She'd have been the leader track
She
record.
would have been the leader. That is the fastest run by a female bobsledder this season in St. Moritz.
Wow, wow. That's what you expect when you're the Olympic champion in 2010, when you win the World Championships on this track last year. This is what you expect. First run. There's no lets here. This isn't tennis.
Emily Badsvik there helping with the sled, called the race in the first heat. But that is a good run from Kaylee Humphries.
Look at this exit here of the horseshoe, the climb, the high line. Look at her eyes, her left, look at her head tilted a little bit. She's looking now, her point to exit here. Look at the speed difference here. This is what you expect from the world champion, the Olympic champion, and an athlete that I think's been in a little bit of slump here after Christmas. This run might bring her out.
There's the smile, and now here is Anja Schneider-Heinz of Germany with Stephanie Schneider, 9th place after the first heat. Schneidi on the podium last weekend in Winterberg with a bronze medal.
Yeah, but she threw all her good velocity and energy away right here in the first heat, and she's trying to do it again. It wasn't bad. The first heat, she was a little bit of a ping pong ball on that wall curve, and Christoph Lang and the coach wasn't very happy.
Didn't have to speak much German to know what he thought of it, did you? 0.04 of a second behind Kaylee Humphries. So she too is having an improved run, but a skid out of Nash into Dixon.
Kind of lines here. Speed, 104 and change should be the number. 104.7 is good speed. She's only 400s down. Needs to be absolutely perfect line to have a chance to catch Humphries, who had rocket speed in the bottom part of the track.
Schneider's going to need 138 kilometers an hour to get to Kaylee Humphries from 1600s back, and she's not
going to do it.
She's going to drop a couple of spots.
Maybe 1, maybe 2.
Whoa,
no,
ducks her head to the line. There's Heather Moyes on the right. There's Coach Christoph Langen.
Yeah,
I can read that expression.
Yeah, but he knows, Humphries is there. So he knows this sled could still move up.
That was as damning as a mother's disapproval, that was. Yeah.
Mistake. Not so bad up top. Not so bad, but here's what really haunted her on this run. Nash Dixon coming up here, and watch the crossover between Nash and Dixon. Watch the back end of the sled. See that skid? Friction.
Well, she walks away from that one. Kaylee Humphries is our race leader. We have 8 sleds left to go on the track. Jennifer Cacchetti of Canada ahead of the Olympic and world champion Kaylee Humphries in the first heat. There's Humphries and world push champion Heather Moyes beside her. Can Jenny Cacchetti really make this a big day to remember?
When was the last time that Jennifer Cacchetti beat Kaylee Humphries driving? Never.
No, but she did win the World Championship breaking with her 2 years ago in Lake Placid before she returned to the front seat.
And you're looking at a second consecutive athlete wearing goggles, and it's the only 2 in the field that do, the Canadian female drivers. Jennifer Cacchetti, this is a great athlete who's trying to learn how to drive, and if she could somehow get to the bottom and beat Humphries, I don't know if that would be good for Humphries or better for Cacchetti, but this is an aspiring driver here with great athletic skills in the push, just learning the tricks of the trade. Ooh, late there. 104.3.
Well, just to say she was World Championship brakewoman in 2012 shows how little time she's been in the front of this sled. 4/10 back on what was a barnstorming Kaylee Humphries run. She could still end up in second or third place.
Not bad speed, huge, 136.4.
Good.
How many spots is she going to fall? One or two? Two spots.
Two
Fourth
spots
best
at the
time in
end.
the run. Yeah, but the coaches will take that. That's a top 10 for Jennifer Cicchetti.
Her best result this season, 9th place so far in the season opener in Calgary. Chelsea Valois, the world champion on this track last year, behind Kaylee Humphries.
Here's the lines in Horseshoe. Boy, do we love these pictures. Wow. Here's the exit slingshot effect. Hit that take-on perfectly. No, just caught the front part of the take-on, and that caused her to be late at the next curve. She got pushed away there down in the middle of the curve, and then 2 or 3 curves later, she was still late.
Jennifer Cicchetti in third spot. Kaylee Humphries leads for Canada. 7 sleds remain in the field, all within a quarter of a second of the leader. Paula Walker of Great Britain, the former world champion brakewoman turned driver, with Big Bex Wilson behind her.
Okay, you got a driver here, it's 6'1". You got the brakeman, it's 5'4". Look at the way Paula Walker just jumped in that sled. Do you see how high her feet got?
Yeah.
That was like she was a high jumper there. That was athletic, Paula.
High as Beck's head.
Yeah, look at how low this 6'1" athlete gets in the sled. Where's that dark shield? And Paula Walker, you know, she's got Kaylee Humphries to worry about right here. But Paula, if she is a speed merchant, when she gets the good lines, she can manufacture speed on the bottom part of these tracks. It's perfect here. Needs to be perfect. Ooh, that's not. Tap before Horseshoe. Crossover. Decent speed, 104.5. Yeah, there it is.
But she's a quarter second behind Kaylee Humphries.
She's going to need to be absolutely accelerator all the way down.
Drifting
Mother Nature,
away.
yeah, not doing it.
She's going to be behind Humphries, behind Schneider-Heinz at the moment as well in third spot. Taps on the wall. 137.2 is very good speed from the Latvian sled. Very good speed, but it's not going to be enough to hold her in the lead. She does slip 2 spots. Kaylee Humphries leads with 6 sleds still to come. Paula Walker has not really found the touch. 2 8th places, the best result so far this season in Park City, Utah, the doubleheader race weekend for the women. Steps slowly out of the sled.
Watch the start. Now watch how high she gets here with her feet when she pushes here. Look at that. The foot almost comes up the heel and hits her in the back. Tells you the type of athlete she is. You have to be flexible to do that. Now the drive lines, I mean, this is where you don't want to be flexible. You want to be quiet. That tap on that wall doesn't sound like much going into Horseshoe, but it did prevent acceleration and speed.
Kaylee Humphries of Canada is our race leader with 6 sleds to go. We had a tie for 5th place. Olga Stulneva of Russia with a Ludmila Udobkina behind her. Stulneva, summer silver medalist in 4x100 meters in Athens.
Great athlete in the front seat of this Russian sled. Great start in the first heat. 5:58 though in this heat. That's 200 slower, but I was very impressed with her drive in the first run. As soon as I said that, she had a little bit of a drift. And she needs to be careful because Kaylee Humphries, 70, oh, that is really deficient. Plus 18 now, and she's gonna, I don't think she can do it. Now the question is, how many places is she gonna fall?
I think a lot of them are going to struggle against Humphries.
Yeah, Humphries just, you know, did what we expect her to do. Win the race going away.
Oh, 103.5. That's one of the
Way off.
slowest speeds we've seen.
Now we're seeing the run, which is normal for this Russian athlete, Stolonaya. She was really high in that curve, but she had her personal best in that first heat. She was right up there with the big dogs in the hunt.
137.4 is good speed, but it's all too little too late. She's not going to be close to the leader. How far behind? 63 hundredths behind. Wow. John, that's 3/10 of a second worse than her first run. Kaylee Humphries went 8/10 of a second better.
Well, it tells you how bad of a first run that Humphries had a good of a run that she had in the first heat, but in the second run, it's not good. Sideways here, going out of the wall into the first part of the snake. And then that skid, she's skidding across on the crossover of the snake there. And this is where you want the sled to accelerate.
That's one to throw away for Olga Stulneva as Kaylee Humphries leads from Anja Schneider-Heinz with 5 still to go in St. Moritz. Sandra Kiriasis lay 3rd in Winterberg last week in her last ever race on her home ice. The German sliding queen took gold and an emotional farewell to Winterberg. On her last race ever in St. Moritz, what can she produce from 5th position? She could easily take another medal.
I think she's favored to win, in my opinion, right now. 570, 570. If she keeps this thing straight and gets all the speed numbers, 105 speed, she will get in that leader's box and tell everybody, come and catch me. She came from 5th to 1st last week. She beat Myers by 100th of a second. And this could be, like I said last week, an Olympic preview. And as I say that, she was not that clean and the exit of wall to snake.
She had an advantage of 1700ths of a second over Kaylee Humphries from the first heat. She's 2400ths behind, nearly 4/10 lost so far in the run.
If she doesn't have 105 speed, she's not going to catch her here on the bottom. 23, 105.6,
wow.
There it is. Okay, game on now. 2 best drivers in the world. One of them at the bottom of the leader's box, the Olympic champion, world champion, and 5-time world champion and Olympic champion coming down at us.
137.8 was the top speed for Kaylee Humphries. This will tell us if Sandra Kiriasis is going to get close.
Do it.
She's not going to get close. She won't be in the medals here in St. Moritz. 2nd place,
4th best time of the run.
Wow.
I don't know what happened there. I didn't see where she made the error because she had the speed at Horseshoe. This, you know, with all the momentum she had from Winterberg last week, this is going to take a lot of air out of her bag. I think she's going to start to realize again she is 39 years old. And here's the first mistake out of wall. This little skid going into snake doesn't sound like much, but at 35 miles an hour, you accelerate to 36 instead of 38 right here. And that is so important.
Celebrated.
Look at, he knows. Yeah. That was right where it happened.
Well, she celebrated her birthday with victory in Winterberg the next day last weekend. She could still take another Olympic medal. But what about these girls? It's her birthday today. Driver Elfie Willemsen with another ex-summer athlete, Hannah Marion, behind. 6th place last weekend, the best drive of their careers. And she lies in 4th. She's a 10th away from a World Cup medal for the first time for Belgium.
17th best out of 18 at the start. But the rest of the ride down the track is magical. Well, 583.
John, this sled produced such great speed numbers last week in Winterberg, and it was top of the speed guns again here.
A little skid there. Last week, it just shocked me that that she could attain those speeds and have that result. And then the first heat here today, I was astounded when she came down to see the numbers she posted. But she has to be perfect. She has to hit 2 home runs. She hit a home run in the first heat. She can't hit a single or a double. She's got to hit a home run here again to advance. Watch the speed here. Out of Horseshoe. She's going to need that 105 speed.
Oh, look at the exit. She's already
105.6.
Wow.
Oh, that's it, though. That mistake right there.
Little skid. Little tap.
That cost her, and she's late there. Plus 40, she's not going to do it. She'll have great speed in the bottom, but just
will she get to 138?
This will still be the best finish ever for.
Wow, 137.9, same as our race leader. How close? She's going to drop to 4th position. That's a shame. So 7th spot.
She matches her best position.
But her last 3 runs, 7th, 6th, 7th. The Belgians are punching above their weight at an unbelievable level.
Now I give her the term. She is in that fraternity I call speed merchants. She can really find speed on the bottom part of a bobsled track, and you can have the equipment, you can have everything, but you still got to have the eyes and the hands, talent, and this girl's got it.
The magic bullet sled.
This Here is a mistake. Crossing over, trying to get on the curve early. She taps. Now that sled goes into the middle. She doesn't catch up for a couple curves. She has to struggle. That erased all the speed. I think she could have challenged if she didn't have that mishap.
Kathleen Martini of Germany, lying third after the first heat. Martini has not had a medal this season. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I think Kiriasis last week came from 5th to 1st. Martini had a disastrous weekend last weekend. Didn't even finish in the top 12. I think Kathleen Martini's turned the light switch on during the week. This is her style track. Look how low she is. She's as good as Kiriasis. Doesn't have Kiriasis's resume. But this could be the German that says, hey, I'm going to post a time, have you guys come and beat me. Plus 10. That's relevant to the start.
Kaylee Humphries.
Ooh, that's a mistake.
From 10th in the first heat is on the fringe of a medal here.
105.5. She's going to have that speed. 105.2. That's lesser speed.
Ooh.
This is going to get close, especially at the bottom. But if anybody can manufacture speed down here, it's Kathleen Martini, whose home track's Altenburg, fast speed track with great driving skills,
Gap
demanded.
is growing.
Bang,
Leads
bang,
138,
14.
137.1.
Don't think she's
slower.
going to do it.
The gap will grow again to the line. Kaylee Humphries is going to be in the medals. Unbelievable recovery from those Canadian girls. Wow.
Well, they recovered from the worst heat of their year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what a recovery.
And then they went early. The other thing, too, is they went early in the heat. They have an advantage in the second run. Normally they do. I say that, but it's St. Moritz.
No real advantage. She just
don't.
produced the drive she wanted.
Yeah, Martini not happy. This is where she made the mistake. Look at this. On the entrance to that curve up top, Nash and Dixon. You can't do that. Then down here in the bottom part of the track, she banged a couple times, too. This is out of Gunter Sachs. Watch this bang here, 2 of them. Over to the left side of our screen, and then she went back over. No speed in the bottom, and you need speed in the bottom to go match Kaylee Humphries.
Kathleen Martini lies second with 2 to go. She may not feature in the medals. Jamie Greubel of the USA. She led the field last week. She's had 3 bronze medals and a silver. Can she step up? She was only 500ths away from the lead in Heat 1 of 2.
Last week, great experience for her, leading, falling to 4th or 5th, I think it was, in the second run. Start, 6th best time in the first heat with a 60. This is 100th better. Emily Azevedo was 5th place at the Olympic Games with Bree Shaw for the U.S. in Whistler. That's pretty much what she did. That's not, though. Couple drifts there up on the wall. Snake, she has to be through here clean. No tapping here.
Well, Jamie,
that's good.
Was a brake woman with Emily in that 2010-11 season. She started driving after the Vancouver Games, and now she is a multiple podium finisher in what is a standout season for her.
She tapped going in. She's going to need 105 medium to have a chance.
Oh, big hit there as well.
No speed at all. Now the question is, can she hang on for a medal? She could fall 2 or 3 places if she keeps on these lines. Plus 7. She could still do it with the big speed on the bottom. She could still stay in the medal position.
Best of her teammates, Alana Myers in 10th place. Jasmine Fenlater's 15th. Can she hang on in the medals? 3rd at the moment with 1 sled remaining. Can she pull it up to 2nd at the line?
Drops.
Martini is in the medals. Humphries is in the silver medal guaranteed. Wow.
2nd week in a row, Jamie Greubel couldn't hold her medal position. But I say this is great experience. She's a very persistent athlete. Very focused. I think this is good experience for her as she goes down the road to Sochi.
Greubel having a standout season.
Here's the crossover. Look at the back end of the sled. A little bit of a skid there. That's weird looking. Look at the back end of the sled here. Now she gets on the curve there, okay, but that looks like almost like a skid going through there.
It is
no speed.
Big skid on the exit.
Probably had the 12th best speed going through Horseshoe.
Well, listen, she's still only in her 3rd year as a driver. Kaylee Humphries and Heather Moyes can't believe the luck that they are riding. 1 woman stands between them and another gold medal. Fabienne Meyer leading for Switzerland after the first heat. A big surprise. It'll be a bigger surprise if she can win this gold medal.
biggest heat of her life. This might be the biggest heat for women's bobsleigh in Switzerland ever. If they win here, women's bobsledding in Switzerland will start getting some exposure. She needs to deliver here for not only for her own career, but for women's bobsledding in Switzerland.
She will be all over the Sunday sport pages if she pulls off this gold medal. She leads. The gap was a quarter second at the start, down to 800. She may be in the red by the time she gets to Horseshoe.
Speed, ooh, up high, speed. She's got a nice line there, 104.8. That's not good speed, and she taps there. She's going to fall.
Is she going to stay in the medals?
Ooh, she's very late there.
400, she could still come back if she gets good speed at the bottom from this City of sled built in Switzerland, like its driver, like its brakewoman.
How many
137, she's second. Is it going to be a medal for Swiss? It's a long, long time since they've had a senior medal.
No, she does win a medal, though.
She takes the bronze medal, but Kaylee Humphries goes 10th to 1st. Is there another track on the planet that is possible?
Very big run, though, from Fabienne Meyer. She's been Switzerland, too, all year. Now she comes out here, falls to 3rd, gets the medal on the, but this is a great result for Switzerland. It would have been much better, though, if it was gold, because the Swiss have got that big tradition.
2008 Junior World Champion. It's taken a long time coming to produce at the senior level, but the day of days for Fabienne Meyer of Switzerland. She got a great run through Horseshoe. She got a really standout first run. Couldn't produce the drive of her life a second time in the same hour. And Kaylee Humphries, and there is another well-known Swiss, Ursula Hilterbrand, wife of Hans Hilterbrand, legendary Swiss driver, champion and sled builder. Kaylee Humphries and Heather Moyes, I don't think they can believe it either. I'm not sure too many others in the field can believe it. We expected the woman who won the Bobsleigh World Championship here last year to be a factor. 10th in Heat 1 suggested she might not be. But history has a strange way of upsetting the form book here. And she came back 10th to 1st. I want to know what the biggest recovery from disappointing first run to victory in second run is. I think that has got to be a contender. Kaylee Humphries wins. Kathleen Martini takes silver, and Fabienne Meyer, first World Cup medal for her and for Switzerland. She takes the bronze medal ahead of Jamie Greubel, another standout day for her. Anja Schneider-Heinz, Sandra Kiriasis, 3 German sleds in the top 6. Willemsen 7th, Walker in 8th place.
Very good job. No, 11. 11. 11? Okay. Just one less. One and one less is 1. That's good.
There's some maths in there somewhere. I didn't understand it either. Maybe you can make head or tail of it, but Kaylee Humphries and Heather Moyes looking pretty happy with that. And the Swiss, well, they don't have a winner yet in World Cup, but boy, suddenly Fabienne Meyer has nailed her colours to the mast at the senior level, some 5 seasons after she became the Junior World Champion. And that is good news for Swiss bobsledding, full stop. And for Swiss women's bobsledding, it's their best ever result. Well, down there at the Horseshoe Bar, everybody enjoying the action. Change in the weather coming through after overnight low of -2 yesterday. We anticipate -15 and below maybe overnight tonight. So we should have a really lightning quick track. Sunday sees 4-man action and the second men's skeleton race of the weekend. Expect to see more records tumble here in this stunning location. Can you think of anything more picture postcard for a winter sporting scene? With the history that St. Moritz has and with the drama that it consistently produces, the glamour, the excitement, there is just no place like it in winter sports. Well, up at the Gunter Sachs Lodge, everybody waiting for the medal ceremonies, which will happen in the next half an hour or so. We have got the 2-man race coming up this afternoon as well. So wherever you're watching, if you can stay with us live for all the action I am sure we're going to get excitement there. Bert Hefty, a winner last time out in Winterberg a week ago. Could he win here in St. Moritz? I'm not sure I'd put a lot of money against him. He's in great form on home ice. Sunny St. Moritz, a great day for Kaylee Humphries. She takes the lead of the World Cup for the first time this season with a stunning, a sensational 10th place first heat run, converted into the gold medal here. Alana Myers had a topsy-turvy weekend and she ended up down in 12th position. Jamie Greubel of the USA, a whisker out of the medals in third. And down with the flowers, there are our top three. And on the right, most significantly perhaps of all, Fabienne Meyer of Switzerland, with Tanja Meyer, her brakewoman, taking the bronze. But it is gold and the magnum of mum champagne for our world and Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries, and world push champion, Heather Moyse. Well, Kaylee, the winner over 4 heats in the World Championships last February in St. Moritz, didn't get the fastest heat first time down. She was only 10th quickest, but boy, she is the fastest woman on this track all week as she set a new track record to go from 10th to first place in a shatteringly impressive second heat. The Canadian coaches loved it then. 9 sleds later, they probably still couldn't believe how good a run Kaylee Humphries produced. Well, let's hear what she thought of it as we join our top 3 and John Morgan.
Okay, Meyer and Meyer, a bronze medal. Fabienne, it's not the gold, but you must be happy.
Yes, I'm happy. I have a good first run and bad second, and I'm happy that I off the podium.
Congratulations, a medal on your home track. It's a great thrill, I'm sure. And Kathleen Martini, your first medal of the season.
I'm happy. Oh, it's very good after the last week. So I had not so good runs, but I think I had the right choice for the material. So we are very lucky about the second place today.
Congratulations, enjoy it. And now, Team Humphries, I've seen a lot of bobsledding. I've never seen anybody go from 11th to 1. Congratulations, and are you shocked?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, Heather pushed amazing today, so that's really what kept us afloat. I definitely had a shocker at a horseshoe first run, which killed us, but she had confidence in me. I came back, tried to drive the very best run I could, and it was good enough for today.
Well, ladies, if there's ever a time to enjoy the champagne, it's now. Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. 10th to first, Kaylee Humphries. The smiles are back with Heather Moyse. She wins here. The Olympic and world champion is now the World Cup points leader as well, with just 2 race weekends remaining before they head to the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. Drama and tradition go hand in hand in St. Moritz, along with the excitement, the glamour and the spectacle of the world's greatest ice racing track. And Kaylee Humphries, what a race, what a run, what redemption. From John Morgan and me, Martin Haven, till the next time, goodbye.